on my way. "Hi, looking for new potions?" I asked, just to attract his attention. He gave me a lopsided grin. "Alexeides, you owe me, remember?" Our level gap was enormous now. This may be a safe zone, but he was too vindictive to miss his chance. I hijacked the situation by playing on his greed. "So, how about the Cargonite? 200 pounds, wasn't it? Are you still looking for it?" He appeared interested enough to suppress his animosity. "We're generous today, aren't we? Where did you disappear to? They closed your castle and shut down the entire sector. Why?" "Yeah, they did open some sort of mirror, but it was BS. You weren't there anyway." "Why? Were you looking for me?" "What do you think? The Ravens weren't happy with you, were they? Your scuffle cost me very dearly, and the next day the admins changed my login location." "You don't mean it. What, just like that?" "Well, they did send me a letter. Like, due to technical difficulties, we were forced to temporarily close the Agrion cluster. We apologize for the inconvenience." "Yeah, right. What happened to your clan then? And the Ravens? You both disappeared off the radars. I find it weird." "You could say that. One question. Do you log in via your implant?" He shrugged and spat at his feet. "How else do you want me to log in? You're worse than a noob sometimes. The questions you ask." What a relief. The uncertainty of the last few hours was gone. Enea and I were alive and back in the crystal sphere. That was the main thing. The rest we could sort out later. "So what's up? Are you gonna pay up?" He grew impatient, assuming his invincibility. Even if I didn't give him Cargonite, at least he'd get even with me and stealth out like he must have done many times in the past. Before I could reply, the old lady had finally caught up with us.
"Good sir, spare a trifle for a poor woman," she addressed Heilig.
"Piss off, bitch. Do you think I'm a noob to be interested in social quests?" The woman looked visibly upset. She stopped and leaned on her staff as if catching her breath.
"No one wants to help me," she complained weakly. "What if they're right? Do I really need this kind of life? Do I?"
She whipped out a dagger from her rags and buried it in Heilig's throat in one practiced, powerful thrust. What happened next was surreal. The already familiar bluish haze, comprised of neurograms, poured out of Heilig's slit throat, breaking into separate puffs which reached out for the old lady, the alchemist vendor, and a few more NPCs who had chanced nearby. "A reaper!" one of White's riders thundered in, then flung his heavy pike at her. The pike pinned the old woman to the vendor's stall. Once again the murky haze poured forth, the bluish cloud of neurograms containing the identity of the disembodied PK player. The cloud fell into separate strata, groping for the nearby NPCs and pouring into their transfixed bodies. A noisy murder of crows took to the wing from the crenels of the city wall. Was it my imagination, or had I noticed the hunched outlines of crossbowmen on the walls? The spine-chilling glitch in gameplay was rapidly snowballing into an uncontrollable event. The marketplace dissolved into panic. Vendors, buyers, passers-by, and idle onlookers, they all scattered in every direction, pushing each other and knocking over the stalls. They separated me from Enea, who was still standing next to her father on the steps of the city hall. Old Friedrich White wasn't a slouch, though. He gave his shield to his daughter and bared his sword, pointing it at the guard's captain. "A harvester!" In the meantime, the NPCs unlucky enough to have been infected with Heilig's neurograms began to recover from their stupor. Heilig had never been among the cream of humanity to begin with. No points for guessing what kinds of thoughts had possessed them once the remains of that unrepentant PK's identity had altered their behavioral models. Agrion was a starting location, always swarming with low-level players, even in off-peak times. None of them seemed to be affected by the panic. They looked around curiously, apparently believing the tragic events to be a mere glitch. An NPC greengrocer's name tag blinked. A new icon appeared in it, a pictogram of a blood-red skull. "Watch out!" I shouted. The greengrocer barged into a swordsmith's stall, grabbed a Morningstar mace, and swung it mercilessly at a petite wizard girl who chanced to be next to him. Other players were even less lucky.